What is up, everybody? I am George Mossey. This is the George Mossey Show. Say hello to my co-host, Heather C.
Hi guys.
So we're going to be talking about Extreme Sisters Season 2, Episode 3. So there's a lot going on with Jessica and Christina. So we learned over the last episode that Christina is married and she has a husband and a baby on the way, which is a boy. We found out on this episode it's a boy. Congratulations to Christina and John on their welcoming a little baby boy into this world. So the issue is they actually blocked each other on social media, and there was a point where they were not communicating at all, which was very crazy because they are not just extreme sisters, they're psychically connected. They can feel things. When one twin is going through something, the other twin can feel it. So the idea that they were not talking is crazy, but we watched the aftermath of Christina's ultrasound, which Jessica was not invited to. And I feel like Christina kind of wanted her to be there, but she, out of respect for John, because John feels like a husband is up here, sibling is down here, she is going along with it. And I kind of want to talk about that too a little later, about how she's not saying what she really feels, but we're going to get into that later. So the real thing is, Jessica wants to be pregnant while Christina is pregnant, because we learned that they've been pregnant at the same time more than once. This is something that they do, and they feel that that's a bond that they've always had because they're parallelly connected. They feel like the things that they do in their bodies are so inclined to do things together. Jessica has decided she wants to ask her boyfriend Josh of 3 months to give her a baby so she can be pregnant with her sister. Now, even Christina feels that this is a bit much because they kind of have just started dating. Now, I don't know if they were friends first. They didn't really get too in depth into the dynamic of the relationship. So maybe if they were friends for like 4 or 5 years before they started dating, this wouldn't be a weird ask. It wouldn't be like, whoa, you want to have a baby with me? We kind of don't know each other that well. And I don't even know if they live together. We didn't get a lot of background. I'm hoping later in the season, we're going to get a little more background on this relationship. But what do you think of the idea of Jessica getting pregnant so she can be pregnant at the same time with Christina? Because they wouldn't give birth at the same time. There will be a few months in between, but the actual length of the pregnancy, they'll have at least 6 months together of doing doctor's appointments and ultrasounds. They will be able to do these things together. So do you think this is something that is feasible? Do you think that Josh will be on board? I know we haven't met him yet, so we're going to just kind of guess on what's Josh's reaction.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to congratulate Christina, like you said, on finding out she's having a little boy. And I want to congratulate Jess on finding a new love. That's really exciting, a new relationship and everything. And I love these girls to pieces, but I don't know, Jess. I think trying to spring this on him so early in a relationship might backfire. Um, it's kind of like they're not as like aggressive with stuff like the Anna and Lucy situation. Like I feel like, one could have a broken arm and the other one isn't going to go out and break their arm to, be the same. I think that this is kind of like along the lines of it because you're bringing a human life into it. But I mean, Jess is allowed to have kids too. Like if this is something that she wants and she wants to expand her family, why not? And if she's like, I want to do this, but it could also just be like a way for her to want to have a bonding situation with her sister because John is so possessive in the fact like, no, it's just me and Christina, Jess, you've had your day in the sun, it's just about us. This could be her way of saying, well, if I get pregnant, can't stop me from going to the doctors. We'll just get the appointments at the same time. And, and they'll be able to be together and bond and they'll have that in common. So, I mean, who knows? But like I said, I try not to get like too involved in like how people like want to live their lives fully because it's on them. But I don't know. I think maybe she might want to think it over a little bit more and make sure that it's because she wants to expand the family and not just spend extra time with Christina because she can do that anyways without having a whole baby.
I agree. I think that you nailed it. I think this has to do with bonding with her sister. And because every time they were pregnant in the past, she said that this was a bonding experience, parallel existence experiences for them. And they're connected in so many different ways. And this will just be another way to feel more connected. So bringing a human life to feel more connected, like you said, might be a little crazy. So let's also talk about someone who wants to bring a human life into the world. I want to talk about V and Ashley. So we were having a conversation. Well, V and Ashley were having a conversation where V was in the bathroom on the toilet, and apparently Ashley couldn't wait. They needed to have this conversation right now. So they wanted to talk about the situation with V and Demetrius. And we learned that there's no actual change. Demetrius is still unable to accept what V is doing for Ashley, and V feels the same too. She's like, if he wants to give me backlash, then he could kick rocks. Now that worries Ashley a lot, because Ashley feels like if she does go through with this and she does have the baby, she has to live for the fact for the rest of her life that she ended a 20-year relationship between her literal best friend in the entire world, V, and her sister, and it's a person that she had spent 20 years with and had 10 kids with. That's a lot to handle. That's a lot to put on. And even though V looks at it as it's my body and I get to make the decisions that I want to make, Ashley doesn't want to live with the guilt of knowing that something that she did with her sister changed the course of her sister's life forever. Because Demetrius is always going to be a part of V's life in some way, shape, or form, because they have 10 kids together. But the idea that he would walk away from this relationship is scary. And I think that Ashley doesn't want to have that on her shoulders. And we learned that Ashley wants to have a baby with her 13-year on and off ex-boyfriend Terrence, who they haven't actually been in communication with. So watching this dinner take place and watching V watch the interaction between the two of them, she was like, I am putting my relationship at risk for a relationship to have a baby between you guys where you guys don't have it together. And she's like, I am worried that we are getting into something that is going to end in disaster. And I kind of feel like V is right. In order for Ashley and Terrence to have a baby together, they have to work on their communication skills. Their communication skills are not good, because Terrence told us that Ashley told her about having this baby about a month ago, and he just shrugged it off. He thought it was a strange thing for her to say, and he didn't really react to it. So their communication skills do seem a little off.
I have so much to comment on the segment between their whole situation, because, something that Terrence had brought up at dinner really, really angered me. I mean, obviously it upset Ashley as well. First of all, out of all the sisters that we've ever met on Extreme Sisters, I would never classify these two sisters as extreme. In my opinion, I just see two sisters that love and care about each other, that are helping each other out. It doesn't make you extreme because you want to give somebody who can't have children a child. I mean, we see a lot of things where, like, Anna and Lucy want to have like the same surgeries. Jess was eating Christina's toenail. Like, we've seen a lot of like crazy off the wall sisterly stuff, and they're, in my book, they're really normal. I mean, they just generally care about each other. I think that V is very passionate because you can tell she's the more dominant sister. You could tell that she kind of is the one that like looks out and it's like, that's my sister and I got her back, and nobody's gonna mess with her or else type of situation. You can just tell in her whole demeanor. I really don't think that Demetrius will leave the situation. He might just need some time to like cool off. I mean, I don't know him from the next person, but I just feel like he loves her. She obviously loves him, but there is a big communication thing. That was a low blow of him to mention the fact that she could not carry her own child. And the fact that she got up and was upset, he didn't even flinch. He didn't even get up from the table to say, are you okay? He laughed. To me, that is a big red flag. Maybe it was TLC and they put it together and they made it look more dramatic. Maybe he doesn't feel that way. But as a viewer, and that's strictly all I am, I'm just a viewer. I tune in, every week that a show comes on. I felt for her. I really felt for her, because when women have surgeries like that, or if they're born with the way they're not allowed to have children, they feel like a big part of them is missing. Or if they have to have a surgery where it gets removed, then they feel like they're not whole anymore. Like part of their womanhood is missing. Because you're always preached ever since you're a little girl, like, oh, you're going to be a mother and you're going to, be somebody's wife and all this other stuff. And it's like, you feel like you can't even fulfill your duties per se. And that's not the case at all. But you can't help but feel that way because you see all these situations. So for him to bring that up and and laugh was just ridiculous. And I'd like to applaud V for going and getting up and running after her and saying, hey, you got this. It's me and you. That's why I said I don't find them to be extreme. I find them to be two regular sisters who just happen to have each other's back.
Yeah, I see that. And I feel like Terrence doesn't feel like the right person for her to have a child with. And I know that she has two kids of her own. He also has two kids of his own already. I just don't know if I want her to have that with Terrence. And I feel like V feels the same way. I was watching V during their interview sitting on the couch, and every time Ashley brought up Terrence, V couldn't help but roll her eyes and get mad. And I was like, this is a deeply rooted issue. Like V knows the type of things that he has put Ashley through. And every time that Ashley would make an excuse or say, well, I would love to be a family with him, the expression on V's face just told me everything that needed to be said. Her whole demeanor changed. She was upset. She was rolling her eyes. She just thought, this man is not the right man for my sister. And she doesn't know how to get that through to Ashley because she wants to be there for her sister and support her sister, but she also wants her sister to move on from this person. And I could tell from every fiber in V's being that that's exactly what she needed. She's like, I need you to get this person out of your head. Like literally, we could just get a donor, a John Doe, like anyone other than this man, and I would be happy for you. So I am wondering how this is going to go because Terrence gave us a flat out no. He gave a flat out no on the show after insulting her and insulting her medical condition. He gave a flat out no, and he said, I could have a baby with Ashley, but I couldn't have a baby with V and Ashley. And he says that he's done with that situation. And that might be for the best. Honestly, that might be for the best. I don't know you, Terrence. We've never met, and you might be an amazing person and everything, but the few minutes that I've encountered you, I don't know if you're the right person for Ashley. I feel like Ashley needs someone who's going to be there and support her, especially with her fibroid surgery and her medical conditions. She needs someone who's more emotionally in tune to being there for her when she needs it. And I feel like V is that person right now. And maybe Ashley is going to find that person soon enough in her life in male form. But right now, I'm just glad that she has V.
Me too. I hope that in the end, whatever they choose, it works out for them. Unfortunately, the heart wants what it wants, and not everybody always likes the people or the decisions, and sometimes people just have to find out for themselves. So I'm glad that it kind of worked where she saw the red flags before anything was permanent and set in stone, because raising a baby with somebody who's not on the same page as you makes your life 10 times harder than it has to be.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have. This is the George Mossey Show, Extreme Sisters, Season 2, Episode 3 podcast recap. I'm George Mossey. Make sure you're following me at George Mossey on all social media platforms, georgemossey.com, and anywhere you get your podcast. And please, please, please follow my co-host, Heather C. She has an amazing finds page where you can find all the good deals in your area for things that you might want or need. All right, guys, we're going to talk to all of you guys really soon.